If you're a fan of the Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew, you probably know that fictional teenagers are often capable of solving cold cases that were unsuccessfully solved by professionals. Wildly underrated, these young characters often have a fresher outlook on these cases and the energy to turn over each stone. The idea of young people being capable of solving crimes is exciting and has been done many times. For some reason, these types of stories are often overlooked. Keep watching to hear more about Enola Holmes and many more young characters famous for solving difficult cases. Fans of Stranger Things, rejoice! Enola Holmes is a film starring Millie Bobby Brown, the actor who plays Eleven in Stranger Things as Enola. The film was released in 2020 on Netflix and is based on a series of novels called the Enola Holmes Mysteries. Enola is the younger sister of Sherlock, the famous Victorian detective. When Enola's mother goes missing, Enola is forced to travel to London to try to track her down. Enola is praised as a very strong character, and her mother is also formidable. Eudora, Enola's mother, taught her daughter martial arts, chess, and so much more that ended up being useful to her while adventuring in London. This film received a ton of accolades, many of which praised Brown's performance as Enola. Fans of this film will be pleased to hear that a sequel came out in November of this year. If you saw one or both of these movies and are looking for similar content, look no further. The first recommendation we have is the 1996 film, Harriet the Spy. Like Enola's story, Harriet's is also based on a popular novel. The star is a 6th grade girl who is interested in working as a spy and a writer when she gets older. Harriet Welsh lives in New York City with her family. Her nanny, old Golly, is her closest confidant. In the film's first act, her beloved nanny is fired, and Harriet has to learn how to navigate the world without her partner in crime. Golly shares a heart-to-heart with Harriet, encouraging her to continue chasing her dreams and continue writing. Harriet is also facing problems with peers at her school. Her rival reads Harriet's private journal and tells all of her friends what was written about them. Her classmates all turn on her, and the whole school starts a group called the Spycatcher Club, much to her embarrassment. Golly eventually re-enters the story and continues to inspire her to follow her dreams. Critical responses to this movie were mixed, but lots of audiences liked it. One critic said, "It's fun, yes, but it isn't afraid to expose the nastiness of youth or the offhand cruelty of one girl's ego. This is not a happy little movie about the sweetness of childhood." If you're looking for a movie with this type of vibe and a realistic performance about coming of age, ambition, and determination, this one could be great for you. Next on our list is a cult classic, The Nice Guys. This comedy thriller serves on its surface as a buddy action movie. However, it is so much more than that. Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling are hilarious on screen in the two lead roles as a private investigator and a member of the police force. 13-year-old Holly March, Gosling's character's daughter, is the film's real star and proves herself by pointing out clues to her father throughout the movie. In fact, Holly is the one who ends up solving the whole mystery. The movie is set in 1970s Los Angeles and premiered at a film festival in May of 2016. Audiences and critics agree and have given this project lots of positive feedback. The setup of the story involves Ryan Gosling's character taking on a job and finding that enforcer, Jackson Healy, has been hired to keep him from finding the truth. After some hilarious dialogue, the pair decide to team up, and Holly March ends up stealing the show. Hijinks ensue, including the pair discovering many persons involved in their case having created an adult film, which then went missing, and Gosling and Crowe have to crash a Hollywood party to uncover more information. Holly ends up stowing away and crashing the party with her dad, and ends up stopping a murder plot. This film is a very fun ride. ride with impeccable acting and amazing comedy. If you think a film that features a rather bumbling pair of adults constantly falling back on the advice of a teenage girl and comedy is your thing, this film is absolutely worth a watch. If you're looking for a film with slightly higher stakes, The Kid Detective may be for you. This story follows Abe Applebaum, a former kid detective. Now he is grown up, and the mayor of his town asks him to solve a local mystery. When he was 12, his best friend was kidnapped, and when he was unable to find her and the police were also unsuccessful, he lost a bit of his confidence. Despite this, he continues to run an independent, private investigative agency. Struggling with depression, we see Abe using alcohol and drugs to cope with his feelings of inadequacy. Everything for Abe changes when Caroline, a local high school student, asks him for help in solving the case of her boyfriend's murder. Abe investigates the crime pro bono and uncovers secrets the victim had kept from his girlfriend. As he progresses into the mystery, he is shocked to find a clue that could not only help solve this murder, but the disappearance of his friend from 20 years prior. Because this film plays with a character at different ages, the writers were able to showcase a young boy interested in solving mysteries like missing magazines or stolen bikes, without toning the whole film down to a children's story. And rest assured, Abe is able to repair and keep up his stellar reputation as a kid detective by the time this story is through. The next film we have to recommend is Cop and a Half. Directed by Henry Winkler, this film is sure to delight fans of comedy, action films, and crime dramas. The story is about a veteran cop who ends up paired up with an 8-year-old boy, played by Norman D. Golden II, the only witness to a murder that Detective Nick McKenna, played by the legendary Burt Reynolds, is tasked with solving. McKenna is a good cop, but isn't the biggest fan of children. Devin Butler, the child in question, dreams of being a cop and is determined to prove himself to the older man. He is able to do this by bringing the information of this murder to the police and using it as leverage to earn a place on the force. After McKenna reluctantly allows the boy to help him with the case, the two quickly realize that the crime they are working on is so much bigger than they thought. If you are a Burt Reynolds fan or love the idea of an 8-year-old manipulating a police force for a sort of pseudo position as an honorary cop, this movie should be on your to-watch list. Interestingly, Macaulay Culkin was originally asked to take the role of Devin, but Culkin chose to opt out. Kurt Russell was also approached to play Detective McKenna. We ended up with not the casting choices that were originally brought up, but anyone who has seen this film knows that Reynolds and Golden are a match made in comedy heaven. Surely everyone has heard of Nancy Drew, no? One of the most famous child detectives of all time, she uses her deductive reasoning skills and quick wit to solve many mysteries in her children's book series. The story was adapted once before in 1939, but today we are talking about the version that came out in 2019. Sophia Lillis of It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2 plays Nancy Drew alongside supporting actors Zoe Renee, Laura Slade Wiggins, and Mackenzie Graham. 16-year-old Nancy Drew and her father move from the bustling city of Chicago to a rural area following Nancy's mother's death. In their new home, Nancy's father, Carson, starts getting involved in local politics, creating a target on his and his daughter's backs. A local criminal soon threatens Nancy in an effort to convince Carson to stop trying to influence the town's politics. Nancy is having a hard time adjusting to her new home between the loss of her mother and the nefarious people in her new town. She is soon punished by her school for misbehaving and meets an older woman while performing community service. The woman, Flora, is convinced her home is haunted. Nancy, eager for a distraction, decides to investigate the apparent haunting. Whether you were a fan of the books growing up, or love Sophia Lillis, or just think this story sounds cool, this movie could be perfect for you. If the fantasy spin sounds fun, you may also enjoy Harry Potter. Be it the books or the films, this story heavily features a very young group of students who are faced with a terrifying mystery. We follow Harry and his friends, Hermione and Ron, as they they begin matriculating at a school for magical abilities called Hogwarts. Soon, they learn that Voldemort, a dark wizard whom Harry had accidentally banished when Voldemort tried to attack him as a child, is planning to return. The story follows the three young friends, or the Golden Trio, as they attend Hogwarts for 6 years, solving a new mystery each year. The seventh and final novel in the series features them skipping their final year at school and taking down the villain once and for all. Unlike the books, the film series chose to split the last story into 2 films. If you do choose to explore this story, and if you haven't already, there are 7 books and 8 movies. If you haven't read or watched the Harry Potter books and films, these would be a very fun way to delve into the content surrounding kids solving dangerous mysteries. How many of these films have you seen? If not, are there any that we talked about today that you will watch? We would love to hear your thoughts on our picks below. And please, do not forget to like this video. If you don't want to miss any future videos, be sure to also subscribe to our channel.